Good morning. Welcome to Workforce Skills with John Morse out here in Phoenix, Arizona. We got a little bit of rain this morning. We've been itching for it. The humidity level's hitting record highs right now. It seems like it's really muggy outside. So a little rain helps, but after it's done, it gets sticky and humid out there. I want to talk to you guys today about my weekend. I normally come on here. I'm talking about employment, how we become better workers, how businesses should better perform. And the question I'm always asking myself is, who's my mentor? Who helps me? Who's guiding me? Who's getting me to that next level? What do I have to better myself and what I'm doing? The person that thinks he knows everything or he's done learning, that's the second you're going to fail. That's the second you're going to make a big mistake. And that's what we don't want to do. So I had the opportunity, I think it was back in January, February, I signed up for an event here in Phoenix, and it was the 10x Cardone Ventures basically weekend seminar. It was a 3-day thing. They had a bunch of guest speakers come in. One that really motivated me was Ray Lewis. Super Bowl MVP, just so motivational, great speaker. If you get a chance, listen to some of his stuff he's got out there. He is so motivational in how he speaks to people. It's amazing me. I learned a lot just from listening to him, but the weekend was set up for business owners. People in business who are struggling, trying to get to the next step, the next level. You hear about all these programs where you can have people come in and basically dissect your business, go in and look at your books, tell you what you need to fix. And you wonder, do they really know what they're talking about? Well, the guy that ran the whole weekend was Brandon Dawson. And if you have a chance, look up Brandon Dawson. He is a multi-millionaire. He's built everything up, and he's lost everything, and he's built it up again. So he knows what it's like to win and lose. And that's who I want to learn from. He sold his last company, I think it was for $151 million. That's the kind of guy I want to mentor me. That's who I want to look at. So I'm looking at this weekend. What can I take away from this? I read the list of guest speakers. One was a guy named Hap, and I can't remember his last name off the top of my head, but he is the founder and owner of North Face, the clothing company. This guy created a company in 1968 out of nothing. And it's now, I think it's valued, his net worth is $56 billion. Massive. To be able to sit there in a room and listen to this guy speak to me, if I had to pick him out of a crowd, I would have never picked him. I would have never assumed that he was that type of person. And the knowledge that I can take away just from learning from this, so I'm in this ballroom. There's 350 other business owners in there. We're all listening to this. We're trying to grow from this. The goal for me going into this was to find ways to change my business, find ways how I can grow. What can I change? What can I do different? And the first thing walking in there was all these guys trying to sell me on the next step, the next program with them. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, guys, leave me alone. I don't do well under high pressure sales. I felt like they were a bunch of used car salesmen that don't know what they're doing. I got this young 20-year-old kid trying to tell me I need to help my business, but yet how can I take advice from someone that's 20 years old that never owned his own business, just fresh out of college, working for Cardone Ventures, trying to sell me on something? And it really rubbed me the wrong way at first. And I was very defensive against some of this. But as the event progressed, and as they had people come up on stage, not just these people that own their own businesses and these high-profile people, they started having people come up there that were in the program with them, in the 10x Cardone Ventures. They started talking. They started talking about their business and where they're at and where they're going and what they've been able to accomplish. To me, the peer-to-peer thing is crucial in anything. Whether it's you're dealing with your addictions, whether you're dealing with anything in life, whether you're dealing with moving up in position, peer-to-peer help in the position that you're in, trying to get to that next position. Here I am with my peers, other business owners, in the same boat I am, running a business, trying to grow. I feel like I've plateaued with my business. I don't know what to do next. There was a time where someone asked me how big I want to get, and I'll tell you when I get there, I don't know. Now I have a vision after this weekend. I know what my next step is and the next step after that. what I'm trying to do to grow my business to get to the next level. You know, my goal by the end of next year is to be at 10 million. My 5-year goal is to have a $25 million paint contracting company. That's my goal. And I'm going to get there if I follow the Cardone Ventures plan. They have a recipe. They have specific advice. I'm going to be taking advice from a guy that has bought and sold companies, that created a company that he sold for $151 million. A guy that's a capital venturist now that's investing in other companies. He's investing in me by helping me get to where I need to be. Obviously, I have to pay for these services, but what is it worth for me to add another $5 million to my company or another $10 million to my company? Am I willing to invest $100,000 in growing my company to hit another $1 million or to hit another $5 million? What am I willing to do? The advice I got there going through this was more from the peer-to-peer, listening to the other business owners that got up there and speak. There was a gal that got up there that owns her own business. She's a hairstylist that is now making, when she started with them, her company, she creates hair extensions and she sells them to other hairstylists and other companies. She created this company, and when she came to Cardone Ventures, a 10x program 2 years ago, she was only about $4 to $5 million. This year, within 2 years of joining this, she will be making $15 million at the end of this year. That was her testimonial. So as a business owner hearing this, it's one thing for a 20-year-old to try to sell me on joining their group and spend all these thousands of dollars to be a part of it. It's another thing for the peer-to-peer. So my takeaway after day 2, at the end of day 2, I'm signing up for it. But I ended up connecting with a guy named Nico, a little bit older. He's only worked for Cardone Ventures for 30 days. He's out of San Diego. He struck me a little bit differently. He was a little bit older. We connected. We talked about it. And he said, John, what do I need to do to get you to sign up with us? I said, you know what? If you can get me 10 minutes with a one-on-one with Brandon Dawson, I'll make a decision after that. He goes, okay, but you have to either give me a yes or no. It can't be a maybe. I go, I will guarantee I'll give you a yes or no. So halfway through the day, before we were taking our lunch, he pulled me aside. He goes, Brandon's ready to talk to you. Come on, let's go. So me and my partner, Greg, we went to him. We talked to him for about 10 minutes. And part of the deal was the price of it and how we're going to make this work. And our companies, we're owed this much money. We've billed this much. We have this much debt. How do we make this work? And came up with a payment plan to make it work for us to get to that next step. And the one thing I kept hearing from everybody up there that committed to the next step, they saw that return in 30 to 90 days, what they invested into it, plus more. But you have to be willing to follow their recipe. That's the one thing I teach in all my classes in the vocational programs when guys are coming through this. I've created a recipe for employment. I've created a recipe that's going to make you successful. The second you stop following one piece of that recipe, that's when it falls apart and it doesn't work. So I have to be invested in this 110%. For you business owners out there, we're in business to make money, and we're in business to grow our business. We want to make more money. And I'm telling you right now, I believe this is the right direction for my business and where I need to go. I came out of there so motivated that me and Greg sat down this morning in the conference room in our office, and we're already making plans to make changes. And that was one of my fears leaving this 3-day weekend, coming out so motivated that I'm going to start making changes before I go to the next process with them, which is in August. So I've got about a month and a half before we go to the next step with them. And one of my questions for them was, I've got so many notes I took over the weekend. I've got so much information that my brain is almost mush that I'm trying to filter through everything. How do I proceed? Do I start making these changes now? Do I start creating a different atmosphere in the office? Well, we already started that a few weeks ago by our job descriptions. And their answer was, pick 3 to 5 things off this list that you feel you need to change. And they gave me a circle diagram of different things to change and what I need to focus on. And they said, take 3 to 5 things only out of these 72 items and start focusing on that. Pick the 5 that are the most important to you. Once you have the 5, label them 1 through 5, what you're going to work on first. It doesn't mean I have to get all 5 of these done by the time I go to their next class or next program. It doesn't mean I have to make all these changes, but the process is starting now. The fact that I'm willing to change. But the change also means that I'm going to invest myself 110% into this. I'm going to take their guidance. I'm going to let them come in my office and tear apart my financials. I want them to look at this and tell me what I need to change, what I'm doing wrong. I think I know everything. I think I know what I'm doing, but that's wrong. I can't think that way. I have to think to the point to where I have a business that I want to be successful and I've plateaued. I can't get to the next level unless I have help. I can't do it on my own. We are not in this journey alone. And that goes for anybody in any position, whether you're the labor in the field or the crew leader or the superintendent, project manager, estimator. We have to grow. We have to learn. We have to be constantly moving forward. So now I have to look at my estimating department, what we're doing, and that's always been a struggle for us. And my takeaway from this weekend for the estimating department is I'm not paying my estimators enough, but I'm also only growing the estimators within the company. And I can still continue to do that, but I need to bring someone from the outside. I need to hire someone and pay someone more than I've ever paid anybody before in my company that has the experience working for a $25 million paint company, that's gotten it to that level, that can work at that level. That's the only way I'm going to make a difference. And maybe it's just needing somebody to get me to that next $5 million level, but them understanding we're not stopping there. We're going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So I'm looking for an estimator right now. And if you're an estimator out there in commercial painting and you need a job, or you're not happy where you're at and you're willing to relocate, or you're here in the Phoenix area and you're with a company and you want to grow something, be a part of something bigger, reach out to me. Let me know. I'm looking for applicants right now. I want your resume. I want to grow. I want to change this. I want to become something bigger. And if you want that, we're going to grow too. I have a vision. I have a new vision for myself that I want to move forward to. And the motivation I'm taking away from this is, I feel we live in a country where our country doesn't invest in us. I don't want to be a company that doesn't invest in my employees. I want to invest in my people. I want to pay them more. I want them to reach their goals. I'm going to start sitting down with every single one of my employees and doing the PPF. And what is the PPF? The PPF is a question of personal, professional, and financial goals. I want to know that with every single employee working for me. What are their personal, their professional, and their financial goals? How can I get them there? But at the same time, their financial goals have to align with my value and my vision of what I'm doing. Because if they want to make more money, they have to grow with us. And professionally, where do they want to be in this business? And if they tell me they want to make it to the next level, what am I doing to train them to the next level? We've already planned as of this morning that Wednesday, halfway through the day, all our crew leaders are going to leave their jobs and come to the office. We're going to have lunch and we're going to do a 2.5-hour training session on how to be a better crew leader. This is what I'm able to take away from what I did over the weekend. I have so much going through my head. It's spinning 1,000 miles a minute here. I'm so excited for the changes and the vision and what's going to happen with our company. The question I have for a lot of guys out there, for you owners of the company, who's the biggest in your area? I don't know who the biggest painter is in Arizona. I don't know who the biggest painting contractor in the United States is prior to this weekend. I now know because I forced myself to look it up. I'm still trying to figure out who the biggest is in Arizona, but I do know who the biggest is in the United States. There's a list I Googled online of the top 10. And the top painting contractor in the United States this year will hit $350 million in revenue. That's the largest out there. What are you doing? Are you a plumbing contractor? Are you a carpenter? What business are you in? And do you understand the competition out there? We have to learn our competition. We have to learn to create a situation to where we want to become bigger and better. For me, it was going to this program over the weekend. It's being a part of this, talking to other businesses. There's certain groups out there just for your trades. Painting has a PCA. It used to be called the PDCA. It's Painting Contractors of America. I don't want to hang around other painting contractors that are less than me. I want to hang around painting contractors that are more than me. I want to hang around bigger people. I want to hang around successful people. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to become more successful. I want to grow bigger. I want to hit another level. I want to improve on myself. I want to improve on my business. I want to improve on how I run the business. I want to improve on how I treat people, how I train people, how I lead people. This weekend, walking out of there, I'm questioning my leadership skills. I'm questioning what I need to do as a leader. Not that I've done anything wrong. I'm questioning how I can improve on it, what I can change on what I'm doing. A book was recommended to me, The 21 Laws of Leadership, something to that effect. And I can't remember the name of the guy that wrote it. But as of yesterday, when I got home, I ordered 10 of those books. One for me and one for other people around me. We're going to change our environment. We're going to change our culture. We're going to change it for the better. A lot of us think our culture is great. It is what it is. But when I have a company and I have a probably 30% to 40% of my labor force is revolving, what can I do to change that? What can I do to change how I'm leading them? Part of it's training, starting with the crew leaders, finding out their issues in the field with these guys. What about team building? How can I build a better team? We need to sit down within our organization, within our companies, and start listening to our management team, our supervisors, superintendents, project managers. What are they struggling with? Where do they see us failing? Where do they see the company needs help? One thing I did yesterday morning before even going to this 9 to 5 thing I was at, I sent out an email to all my superintendents. I said, hey, me and my partner, we're going through this. We're learning. We're getting better. What can I do to help you, and where do you feel you need more training? I would like a response from everybody before tomorrow morning. Within an hour to hour and a half of sending out that email, I had a response from everyone but one. And each one was a different response of what they personally felt they needed and needed help with. And I'm going to take an invested interest in each one of them. And we're going to build this team to be stronger. It's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We're going to change how we look at our business. We're going to change how we look at each individual employee. We're going to change our onboarding process when we hire people. Part of my process now, realizing this going into with somebody that's applying for a job, even as a painter, I'm going to go over the PPF. What's your personal goals, your professional goals? What's your financial goals before they come on board with us, to know where they're at? I'm going to share with them my goals of growing the company, where I'm going. So to make sure that they're coming on board, it aligns with our mission of growing. My mission right now is to change the culture of my company and to grow the company. That's where I'm at. And that mission statement might change day to day depending on what we're doing and where we're going. And I might fine tune that. I think my mission statement today will be different than it is at the end of the year and into next year and into 5 years. It's always going to change. We're always going to grow. We're going to adapt to situations. So building these guys and bringing them on board and sharing this with them, I think will change the atmosphere of the company. If we hire somebody today and they're starting tomorrow, our new plan is they don't go straight in the field tomorrow. At 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, they'll be in the office. There's going to be a 2-hour training session, talking about the company, how we do things, safety protocols, how things are run, teach them how to clock in and clock out. We are going to change how we do everything in my business. Now, what about the financial struggles of a business? Every business struggles in some form financially, trying to make payroll. I know for us, growing a company, it was hard in the beginning, knowing that some of our invoices weren't going to be paid for 30, 60, 90 days. One of the hardest struggles in the beginning, there was a bank we did a lot of work for. I'm not going to throw them out there, but their billing, it was 120 days. Imagine if I didn't pay my bill to the bank, or I owed them money for 120 days. The interest would compound on that. Unfortunately, I just had to suck it up, and that was part of learning to do business and grow. I learned how to set up lines of credit. I learned how to utilize my credit cards to my advantage. I learned how to use my vendors and set up job accounts to where they were on the hook with me on these jobs. They were invested into it with me. Right now, my vendors are my partners. My partners are Sherwin-Williams, Dunn Edwards, Benjamin Moore, PPG. Those are my partners in my business. Those are the ones that I set up job accounts with, and that's what helps me move forward with this. Utilize things around you. And if you don't understand the financial strategies of your business, because a lot of guys don't even know what their overhead cost is. They don't know what their true cost per man per hour is. You have to learn that. And if you don't know it, you have to find that education and get that. Find someone that's going to mentor you in this business. And for you that are working for a company and wanting to go out and start your own business, you need to understand these before you go out there and start. I've got a couple of guys that have left me that have tried to start their own business. Some are successful. They listened as I guided them. They went out there and got other mentors to help them. Others, they're failing miserably. They don't understand it. They thought, all I need to do is know how to paint. I need to know the numbers of bidding a job. It's more than that. It's understanding the structure, the strategic financials of your business. How are you going to grow if you don't understand how much money you're making or what your cost per man per hour is, what your overhead is? You have to understand this. And that's one thing that I'm even at the level I'm at and the size of our business, I'm even willing to go into this open and honest with my financials and whatever struggles I have with the 10x program we're going into. My next step is a 10x 360. That's my next program I'm going into. And I'm going into it with open arms. I'm not going to push back. I'm just going to open up and let the floodgates happen. And people don't realize how much money it takes you got to put back into the business to invest into to build it bigger. You know, it's, for example, myself, I'm a salaried employee within my business. I take a salary every week, same paycheck every Friday. It doesn't change, doesn't waver. Just because the business is making money doesn't mean I take all that money back for me. I'm building the company bigger. At the end, hopefully there is a profit. And that's when the bonuses are sent out. That's when I can take a year-end bonus. But in the meantime, I live paycheck to paycheck just like every employee I have. It might be a different salary than others, but it's a paycheck to paycheck thing. I live within my means. And in doing that and realizing that in the very beginning of running my business, I was able to grow it faster than other businesses have. Because that was one of the first steps I had to understand in the very beginning. I don't just take all the profits home. Just because you do a job for $100,000 and that job profited $20,000, that doesn't mean I'm taking home a $20,000 paycheck. It takes money to make money. You have to invest in your company and in yourself. You have to invest in your people. Invest in the training of your people. You know, going to this weekend group and some of the stuff I took away, there's training programs out there I learned about I never knew were out there. There's so many programs I learned about and learning from other businesses what they're utilizing. You know, as painters, I'm going to tell you, I highly recommend getting involved in a group of your trade, whether it's plumbing, electrical, whatever you're doing, whether it's sales. Get with other like-minded people that are in your business, but as well get with other groups that are business-oriented that's not specific to your trade, your business. It is amazing how much you can learn. I've got a buddy, he owns an HVAC company out here in Phoenix. Man, we don't do it anymore because we're so busy and our businesses have grown so much, but we used to get together at least once a week and go play golf. And I'm telling you what, those 4.5 hours I was out there on the golf course with him changed my business because I learned what he was doing. And his business changed because he learned what I was doing. We fed off of each other. We learned from each other. You don't use everything. You're not going to take everything. But it gives you a different mindset. It gives you a different look at what you're doing on how to run a business. You as a business owner have to realize you are no longer who you were in that trade. I am no longer a painter. I know how to paint. I can still do it, but I'm no longer a painter. I'm a business owner. I'm going to run it like a business. And in doing that, I'm going to learn to grow. I'm going to learn to get to that next level. But I'm also learning that I have to continue training. myself, as well as every single employee that works for me. Everyone has to continue to learn, has to continue to grow. And we can only do that by putting the right tools in place. The tool for me in place is this new group that I'm joining. I am dialed in on Cardone Ventures to be a part of that and change my business. I had the pushback in the beginning, and I watched other people that were there for the very first time walk away and did not sign up for this. But I also listened more than I talked at this place. I listened to the others that were already doing it, already making it, and the difference in their businesses and the difference of what they were doing. There was another guy that was there, and he doesn't own his business anymore, but he continues to be a part of it. He signed up with them for, I think, 2.5 years ago, became a part of this program. He ended up putting up his business for sale 6 months ago. And in doing this, in the training and the help from Cardone Ventures with this 10x group, this program, he ended up getting 30% more for his business than what they were offering him. He shut him down. 2 months later, this same group came back and bought his business for 30% more because he was able to show the platform of his business, where it was going, how it could grow, where it was going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years with the Cardone Ventures program. He was able to get more out of his business. It created more value in what he was doing. And that's what we have to do. We have to create value in what we're doing. We have to create value in every single employee that works for me. I didn't realize what is the value of each employee. What value does each employee bring to the revenue of my business? If I have 100 employees and I'm doing $10 million worth of work, what is the value of each of those employees? What revenue are they bringing in? What dollar figure, percentage is it? That's what we need to know. There's so much that I need to learn. You know, it's funny. I walked away from this and even Saturday evening and yesterday, and I'm riding back. Me and Greg rode together to this, and I'm riding back, and I told him, I go, I got to be honest with you. I know I'm pretty smart. I've done good at running this business. I know my shit, basically. But I'm walking away from this feeling pretty stupid right now, like I don't know everything. I have a lot to learn. And knowing that right now, I felt like running my business, education-wise, financial-wise, what I'm doing, I thought I'm at the 90 percentile or 90% of where I need to be. What I realized over this weekend, I am at maybe 25% of where I need to be, and that I still need to grow and I still need to learn. And I'm not knocking myself down, and I know I'm not a stupid person, you know, but I realize I have a lot more to learn if I want to take this to a level I've never been at. How do I become one of the top 10 painting contractors in the United States? That's my goal. But I can't put that goal in front of everybody in my company. I have to put a lower goal to make it sound reasonable. You know, the goal for me is in 5 years to be at $25 million revenue. That's the goal right now. That's the goal I'm putting in front of my team. That's the goal that we're going to look at. We have that 5-year goal. And there's some of you out there thinking, there's no way a painting contractor can do $25 million in a year. Well, I'm going to tell you you're wrong because others have already done it before me. And how can I believe it can't be possible if others have already done it and that they've set the groundwork and they've proven that it's happened? When the number one painting contracting company in the United States can do $350 million revenue a year, why can't I get a piece of that? Why can't you get a piece of it? We're thinking too small. You have to think bigger. Don't be so small-minded. Small ideas come up with small dollar figures. I want bigger. I want to grow. It doesn't mean that you have to grow. Some people are content where they're at. I'm not saying don't stay small. Some people, that's all they want. Some people just want the one-man show. You know, there's a lot of contractors out there that are just one person, and that's okay. But for me, for what I'm going for those of you out there that want more and you want to grow your employees, you want to make your employees better, train them, motivate them. If your employees aren't trainable, if they're not motivated, maybe you're doing something wrong. Look at your employees and figure out how you can motivate them. Do like I did. Send out a message to your employees and say, what do you need training on? What can we do better to assist you? Where do you feel you're struggling at? What are you struggling at that you need help to become better? We can't sit here and assume we know, or we can look at them and know the answer. Because maybe they feel like they're struggling with something else. And maybe what they're struggling with, they're really good at. They just don't realize it. And you need to build them up. But ask your employees. Ask your team. Your team, your employees need to understand the direction of the company. They need to understand where you're going and what you're doing. How can you expect them to be on board with your values, your vision, if you don't tell them? How can I expect anybody to understand what I'm looking for or doing unless I tell them? When you go buy a car, you don't just walk in and say, oh, I just need a car. No, well, what do you want? You want air conditioning? It's 110 degrees outside today. I definitely want air conditioning. Okay, let's be specific. Share what you want. You're not going to tell that car salesman things you don't want. You're going to tell them exactly what you want. I want a truck. I want this. I want cruise control. You know, I drive a Dodge Ram 2500 diesel, and it's got all the bells and whistles. I know what I like. I know what I want. So when I go looking for the next truck, when I'm done with this one, I'm going to tell them, here's what I'm looking for. I want all the bells and whistles. I missed the air-conditioned seats from my last truck, though. This one didn't have it. So that's going to be a must for me moving forward here in Arizona. I need that. So I know what I want. I'm going to tell people what I want. Tell your employees your vision. Tell them your motivation, your mission, your direction. That's the only way to change what you're doing. That's the only way to change the direction. But you also have to be willing to learn that you don't know everything. I don't know everything. Me sitting here talking to you guys, I'm not telling you this because I know everything. This here, what I share with you guys, is my story. It's my narrative. It's what I've done. It's what I've created. I'm just giving you the information that works for me. What I tell you might not work for you. What I tell you might not be the best fit for you. But if you can take something from what I'm talking about, if you can take one thing from one podcast, it's worth $1 million right there. The next idea starts with you talking about that idea. It starts with you talking about change. You need to change. We need to grow. We need to learn our own value. And the value that I have for myself today is going to grow tomorrow and the next day and the next day. It's always going to continue to grow. That's what we want in our lives. We want to continue to grow emotionally, mentally, and financially, spiritually, however you believe, whatever you believe in, we want to continue to grow. We want to better ourselves. I don't want to stop here. I want to continue. I have a vision now. That saying that I've always used when someone asked me how big I want to get, and I said, I don't know. I'll let you know when I get there. I know where there is now. I have a vision. I have a goal. And that's to be the number one painting contractor in the United States. That's my goal. Now, if I don't hit it, that's fine, but that's a goal. That's what I'm shooting for. But my first goal right now is to hit that $25 million in sales a year. And in 5 years, I will hit that number. Maybe sooner, but that's the goal. And maybe it takes me 6 years, but if I don't hit it in 5, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to try harder. But now I have a team behind me. I have my team, my management team that's going to know the vision, know the direction we're going. I also have the team from Cardone Ventures with Brandon Dawson. That's my team. I want champions on my team. I want GOATs on my team. The greatest of all time. I want the best of the best. That's what I'm looking for. Mediocre is failure to me. I don't want to be mediocre. I want to be the best. I'm not going to half-ass it. I'm 110% into this. And that doesn't mean if you're mediocre, you're a failure. That's me. That's how I feel about myself. That's what I'm looking at in me. If you're happy, just content, floating by, doing what you're doing, making that paycheck, by all means, continue to do that. Because every company needs employees like that. But if you want to become something more, you want to become something better, then push yourself. Drive yourself. I want to get to the point where I'm done pulling my team, my employees, and they're now pulling me to become better because of my vision, because of what I implemented. I want them to help me grow. I want them to help pull me to the next level. I want them to now start to create their visions within the company of what they want. And it's going to start with a simple conversation. PPF. Personal, professional, and financial. What are their goals? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to grow to? That's what we have to look at. Invest in your people. Like I said earlier, I watched the debate last week, and I don't want to really bring politics into this, but you know what? I feel like we are a country that they don't have a direction. We have a country, we have politics, we have people in place that are not investing in our people. We invest money in other wars, other countries, other things. It's time to invest in our people. As a company, I'm going to invest in my people. I'm not investing somewhere else, but as I make money, I'm going to invest in my community. I'm going to make a change in my community. I'm going to help people. That's what I started with the vocational program. So maybe I'm doing a little backwards. Maybe I'm investing in the community first and now the company. But either way, it's going to grow as one. I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to get better. I'm going to continue to make a change in my life and the people around me. I'm going to show that they can make it too with me. They're going to make money with me. I'm going to share the wealth. I'm going to share the love. I'm going to share the whole company. We're going to grow together. We will be a force to be reckoned with. That's how you have to look at your people. If I've given you anything today, go out there and learn, educate yourself, and train your people and learn from your people. Learn how to be a better leader. We can all use growth on this. Look at the leadership that we have in our country and politics and teams. I want to be the best of the best. Look at your best football team out there. Look at your best basketball team, whoever. Look at the leadership and how it flows down. It starts with a leader. Who's going to lead them to a championship? I want all champions on my team. I want to create a team of 100% champions. And if you want to be a part of that, come join me. If you want to be a part of that in your company, change your culture, change your company. That's where it starts. It starts with you making a difference. It's you versus you today. Only you can make the change. But you got to buy in. You got to make the change. You got to make it happen. I appreciate every one of you guys out there. I appreciate you listening to me. If you like, please leave me some messages on our website or on some of our platforms. Leave me some messages of stuff you want to listen to, any information you have for another podcast down the road. Maybe I've been talking about things and you're waiting for me to hit that one topic that you need. I guarantee you're not the only one out there that needs that. There's 1,000 other people that need the same thing. So reach out to us. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you think of the podcast. Let us know how we can better serve you and help you. This isn't for me. I'm not doing this for me or my satisfaction or my growth. This is for you guys, to help you guys out there. So once again, stay hungry.